Tom!
What's the matter?
Oh, it's Farris.
What? What's wrong?
What's wrong? For Christ's sake, look at him, honey.
Farris?
He doesn't have a fever, but he says his stomach hurts and he's seeing spots.
They bought it.
A wise person once said, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop to take a look around every once in a while, you could miss it.
I know sometimes looking around can make you feel anxious, but why would you want to harbor anxiety on a day like today?
But don't get me wrong, anxiety isn't always a bad thing. Our ability to anticipate problems and plan accordingly, to prepare for a fight or flight in advance of a threat, is not a bug in our programming, it's a feature.
The study of anxiety has been around for ages.
From ancient philosophers to modern day scientists.
People have always studied this complex feeling.
Aristotle once defined fear as pain arising from the anticipation of evil.
Did you know that anxiety disorders are the most common mental health issues in the United States today? With over 40 million adults affected.
That's nearly 1 in 5.
And here's a quick hack if you're ever having a panic attack. Remember the phrase HALT. Well, actually, the initials HALT. H, ask yourself if you're hungry. A, maybe you're angry. And L, you could just be lonely. And if that's the case, just call somebody. And finally, T, that means you're tired. Take a nap. I recall Central Park and Fall. The way you tore your dress. What a mess, I confess. Those are some great techniques in a pinch that you can use when you're having an attack. But how do we ease anxiety in the long term?
Here are a few steps that I use that might help you chill out. The first thing that you want to do is recognize that you actually have anxiety.
I never realized that I had anxiety. But if you find yourself overthinking, worrying, or even procrastinating, these are all signs of anxiety. Take a look at your daily routine. What do you overly consume? Possibly you're overweight and you're self-conscious about it, but you eat food to feel better. Maybe you're worried about outside people and how they judge you. So you don't go outside and you spend time indoors just scrolling on social media. For me, it was alcohol. I used to drink alcohol not realizing that I was using it as a cure for my anxiety. And it was creating my anxiety. It was the cause and cure, like Homer Simpson said.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
And in retrospect, after quitting alcohol, it makes sense that it contributed to my anxious behavior. With the overthinking, the poor judgment, and it took all my money. You could imagine how much stress was alleviated from just not drinking anymore. Yeah, in the beginning it was a little bit tough, but I think after 3 months, I started to recognize that that was a huge contributor to my anxious thoughts. The next thing would be to focus on the moment. Once those thoughts from the past or those worries from the future start to creep in, ask yourself if they're really that important to be investing your thoughts into or creating make-believe movies about. It reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from Lao Tzu. If you're depressed, then you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. But if you're at peace, you're living in the present. One of the weird things that I like to tell myself when I start overthinking is to focus on my brain, the back of my brain. Think about that the next time you start overthinking. It works. And another thing to ask yourself is, what am I afraid of? When there's something troublesome in the future that could possibly happen, think about the worst case scenario. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Think about that first before you start worrying and dwelling and making up scenarios. I mean, it's good to have a plan, but to quote another great philosopher, Marcus Aurelius, this one always sticks in my head. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find your strength. And that one goes for a lot of things in life. And also, look for gratitude in the moment. I guarantee you, anywhere, anytime, there is something amazing happening around you. You just got to stop and pay attention to it. Once you pay attention to that, it'll take your mind off of the negative things that you might be thinking or freaking out about. And if you want the ultimate shortcut and hack that I found, it's through prayer in the Bible. And my favorite verse about this is Matthew 6:25-34. And I'll just give you verse 34 where Jesus said, "Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's troubles are enough for today." Remember, anxiety is a part of life. It's something that we all have, but it can be managed. And you're not alone. I put some links in the description if you're looking for professional help.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.